Trump's new obsession / distraction is the Biden autopen, Biden cognitive story. And so obviously Biden's whole controversy right now is that there's a lot of information coming out. I don't know if you heard Jake Tapper has a book outlining what the kind of last year or final weeks of Biden's administration looked like. And we all understand his decline contributed to a lot of problems. But MAGA took that and ran with it and said, what if he was so cognitively impaired, he didn't know when things were being signed on his behalf, and he was just, I don't know, on a beach somewhere. And so now Trump, but then I've told you before, this is kind of how dishonest narratives get going. You have this one part, concerns around Biden's cognition, and then that just develops into something totally fabricated. Like, we have it on good authority that the autopen was signing things for Biden that he didn't know were being signed, and that the whole administration was being run without his knowledge. No evidence of that. I'll show you a reporter just checkmating Trump on it with a pretty simple set of questions. But first, for context, Trump's now launching an investigation of this. Remember that, number one, plenty of previous presidents have used autopens, because if there's a bunch of documents you have to sign, you give your approval and then yours is stamped on there. It's kind of like a stamp, from my understanding. And so you approve of it, but then you don't have to do the physical mechanical nihilism of actually signing it all. I'm not cognitively. And so I love when we do that. I do the soundbite and then the soundbite does the soundbite, just in case you didn't know what I was referencing. And so there's no evidence of this. It's totally normal what Biden was doing. Trump uses the autopen too. He's admitted it. But before showing you him being confronted, remember that he's the one. I keep bringing this up. I don't see too many people doing it. He's the only one that I've ever seen in terms of presidents being on the record, not realizing their signature was put on something that their signature was put on. And Trump actually had that happen to him with the Alien Enemies Act.
It doesn't sound like this judge, who the DOJ is arguing with today about the deportation flights. He wants to know why the proclamation was signed in the dark, his words, and why people were rushed onto planes.
Because we want to get criminals out of our country, number one, and I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it. But Marco Rubio's done a great job, and he wanted them out, and we go along with that.
So his signature was on it, and he said, I didn't sign it. There's no clip like that of Biden's. Obviously, Biden is saying this is ridiculous. I knew what was going on. I approved any things that were signed. And The Hill reports President Trump on Wednesday ordered an investigation into actions taken by former President Biden while in office, citing questions about Biden's cognitive state toward the end of his White House term. Trump directed the counsel to the president, in consultation with Attorney General Pam Bondi, to probe whether certain individuals conspired to deceive the public about Biden's mental state and unconstitutionally exercise the authorities and responsibilities of the president. We're going to figure out the autopen, which, by the way, think about that. Who would have to prove that something was done wrong with the autopen? Because obviously you could imagine if just some staffer went and signed a document that wasn't supposed to be signed with Biden's signature, that would be terrible with any president's signature. Apparently that's what Marco Rubio did with Trump. But stamp, or I don't know how the autopen works, but something like that. And that would be a controversy. But do you know who would have to expose that? The president. Because he would have to go, no, I didn't sign that and my signature's on it. Otherwise, how would you possibly prove that it was done without him knowing about it? And he's obviously disputing that, and it's a made-up controversy. But it's important to talk about because it's the nature of how Trump tries to distract from other more important things. So here, he gets asked a pretty basic question. To launch an investigation, which I just want to say before playing the clip, as a side note, I apologize. I was kind of critical of Biden's pardons of a bunch of his allies, people that people feared were going to be targeted by Trump. And I said, I don't love the idea of some of the pardons that he did. Now he was proven correct, which is that, or whatever staffer signed the pardons, that Trump was going to go after everyone, including Biden. Now Biden's being investigated. So apparently these pardons were necessary. Give me one. I should have gotten one. Where was my pardon?
I'm asking, have you uncovered any evidence that anything...
Oh, so to introduce the clip, first, please do click the subscribe button. Second, pretty basic question from the reporter. which is, do you have any evidence? Do you have any cause to be launching such an investigation? And Trump says, I do. The brain.
So I'm asking, have you uncovered any evidence that anything specific was signed without President Biden's knowledge or by other people in the administration acting illegally?
Well, I don't think Biden would know whether or not he signed it.
I'm asking if you've uncovered any of that information.
No, but I've uncovered, the human mind. I was in a debate with the human mind.
Listen, we don't need to rewrite history about Biden's debacle. But maybe Trump's the wrong person to be investigating it with that sentence. Have you uncovered that anything was signed without Biden's knowledge? Trump, I don't think Biden would know. Question, I'm asking if you uncovered any information. Trump, no, but I've uncovered the human mind. I was in a debate with the human mind.
I'm not cognitively.
I think you were in a fight with your own mind and you killed it. You committed homicide against your own brain.
Biden would know whether or not he signed it.
I'm asking if you've uncovered any of that information.
No, but I've uncovered, the human mind. I was in a debate with the human mind, and I didn't think he knew what the hell he was doing. So, it's just one of those things, one of those problems. We can't ever allow that to happen to our country. The danger our country was in, and I know some of the people that worked with him, radical left, horrible people. And I could give you the name of some of the people that use the autopen, because I'm here, and I ask questions about people that were here also. There are a lot of people that were here when that happened, and they're here right now, and they'll answer your question very accurately. But I know some of the people that use that autopen, and those are not the people that had the same ideology as Joe Biden. These were radical left lunatics that used that, and they didn't get elected. He didn't get elected either, actually. Thank you very much, everybody.
That's the end of the presser? What a crazy ending. And I was here, and there are a lot of people that are here, and when they're here, I see that they're there, and they're not exactly there, right? Because with the human mind, if you debate with it, then you see that it's not attached to reality in the way that you would want, because other people, radical left, are going to input into the system what they would like through the autopen, which is the greatest. By the way, goodbye.
That used that, and they didn't get elected. He didn't get elected either, actually. Thank you very much, everybody.
That's a crazy note to end the presser on. And while such issues, so total fake scandal, ridiculous. Again, even if this scandal were to be a scandal, Joe Biden would have to be the one who exposed it by saying, I found out something was signed that I didn't sign. Otherwise, who else would? I guess unless you found staffers who would say we routinely, without his approval, were signing all sorts of wacky things. But that's not going to happen, so they're just investigating Biden to give him a headache. While that's going on, Nancy Mace is focused on the real issues, saying, calling yourself a woman doesn't make you one. To which someone responded, calling yourself a Christian doesn't make you one. Nice. So let's just quickly address this. Another thing I've been warning you, brace for impact. As Trump's administration has all of these issues, then right-wing media has to put emphasis on other things. And so the trans issue will be one of those things. And there are fewer, less productive conversations than the political discourse we have, mostly, over trans stuff. Like that. What does she mean? She means you're not a biological female if you call yourself a woman, obviously. What does she also mean? I don't want to, if someone's requesting, acknowledge their identity as, in every role sense, a woman if they've transitioned. Okay, well, our disagreement is they try to act like it's some basic scientific dispute, which it's not. It's just how much do we want to respect the identity requests of other people, and she just doesn't want to. Even though, even a far right person like Alex Jones can acknowledge a basic truth that some people, their unique identity and the circumstances of their life, their identity is such that the absolute correct thing societally would be for us to respect that. You might remember Alex Jones was like, wait, am I okay with trans when he met Blair White?
Person, you look like a woman. Blair White's done nothing wrong. Your bones look like a woman. We're very blessed to have you.
What does that mean? I saw an x-ray. You got woman bones. I would be very uncomfortable in that interview with him. Wow, he's lost a lot of weight since then. Good for him.
As an amazing, beautiful, smart person, my genetics says this is a woman. You're an articulate, amazing person, a beautiful person. The way God works mysterious ways, it creates beautiful things. It just shows you how God works in mysterious ways. I know this in my heart. You're a good person. You love the children. You're the perfect spokesperson. This is what they probably should have done over at Bud Light, but inherently in a spirit.
Now we're getting a little creepy, Alex. Look, he changed it to his phone profile. Podcast listeners, he's showing Blair White in a bikini on his phone lock screen. Okay. My lock screen's still very exciting. After we saw Trump's lock screen, I decided to make my lock screen me. Look at those! Look at those arms. No AI. Wow. Okay, Alex. I would run if I were Blair.
Bud Light, but inherently at a spiritual level, I realize that God's working through you, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah. So if even Alex Jones can realize God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes God works where you put a woman on your lock screen and while you're interviewing her. Maybe that's... No, but my point in saying that is that everyone, if they stripped away the partisanship and aggression, understands that trans people should be respected and their identity can be respected fully, logically, and with a full understanding of biology and science. Just detaching the concepts of an identity, a gender identity, and the biology of sex. But as every normal person goes, and then there's some issues like the sports issue where you understand why it's a little bit more complicated. But on the broader, like what she's posting that people get so fired up about, it's this meaningless debate that people love having because we all actually agree in what I just explained. We can all understand what we're talking about. But then the right tries to make it, y'all are trying to say that, biology is not what biology is. And maybe some far lefty says, no, it really is changing the biology. I don't know. I don't know what people are saying out there. Who knows? I can only know what I'm saying. And what I'm saying, I think everyone doesn't have much of a debate over. Just basic respect. And then when we get to more nuanced issues, we handle those like adults. But Nancy Mace is still arguing with, what is a woman? Wait. Have you ever thought, what's a woman? Wait, wait 1 second. What? Hey, here, show this. Libtards. Define a woman. Post. No, not really. We're still doing that? After all this? We're still doing that? Hey, soy boys. I bet you don't know what a woman is. Lol. MAGA. So sad. Make America great again. Okay. Get over it. Let's all be adults. We waste so much time screaming about things that just shouldn't be screamed about. Share your thoughts in the comments.